iPad, therefore I profit. Don't think there's a link between likely strong Apple iPad sales and the economy. Well, think again, because we're forcing it here. Like we've been reporting, this ain't no ordinary impulse item at nearly $500. It ain't cheap, and in a recession, it ain't doable. But now, apparently very doable. So proof we're doing well enough for Congress and the White House to cool it on stimulus. Maybe we're stimulated enough. To Jonathan Honig, Gary B. Smith, Megan Carberry, and Mike Norman. Megan, what do you make of that?
I think that might be wishful thinking on the part of some people. This really represents a niche segment. I'm sure there's some sort of fourth prequel from Star Wars with these people outside of an Apple store with Jar Jar Binks as their leader. Not really an indicator that all of America is ready to...
You're not criticizing Apple devotees. So.
I have an iPhone. It's great.
Okay, because you're right. Actually, when you go there, it is really a Trekkie convention, but that's fine. Mike, what do you make of that? That maybe it's just an obsessed lot of folks we're talking about with the iPad, and not a general statement on the economy.
Well, it's interesting because I remember back in '07 when they launched the iPhone, and it was around the week that we had the stock market crash, and people
that was launched in '07?
One of the products, and people were lined up outside the store, even though everyone was really, really worried about the general economy and the markets. People were lined up outside the stores at 6 a.m. But I'll say this: you like the sales of iPad? You think it's a reflection of a good economy? Why cut spending? More spending adds to personal, and I mean, we've been over it. It adds to GDP. We'll sell
Gary B, there you go. Keep it rolling.
Well, I love Mike, but come on, Mike. Per your argument, then the government should spend 100 times what it's spending now,
no,
and
that's
we'd all be having yachts out back. We'd all be billionaires for crying out loud.
That's not my argument, because we have
that is your argument. That's your argument that the government spending can lift the economy.
The father is still in the house. Continue.
The money is an issue of accounting. We can spend up to the point that we utilize all of our resources and our capital, all of our resources and our capital of a nation. If we push beyond that, we have a problem. It's like any business.
We're pushing beyond it now.
No, we're not. You have 20 million people out of work.
10 Hail Marys. All right, now, Jonathan.
And Mike, though, I mean, like, look at some of these...
Get off that. Here's what I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Is this, yes or no, a sign of a good economy, that we don't buy $500 items willy-nilly in a bad economy?
Neil, we buy $500 items that improve our lives, which is exactly what first the iPhone. I'm a big fan. It sounds like other people here are, as well as other folks out there. Yes, the tech geeks, but others as well. I mean, Apple is a miracle maker. Their stock's at an all-time high. What about the FDIC? What about Freddie and Fannie? All government projects are literally broke. They're insolvent. But Apple succeeds by providing a value that people want. And Neil, at $500, it's cheap. What these devices do, the products are cheap, given the amount of productivity they do.
Everything.
I mean, you surf the internet on this.
I saw it.
I mean, what does it do that's so revolutionary?
Megan, I'll tell you what it does that the government could take note of. It explains what it does and how you use it in a pamphlet.
Yeah, it's a
Now, if we did healthcare like that, done.
It's true. Well, it is up there on whitehouse.gov. There is the internet's a cheap app sometimes.
Right.
It's a pamphlet.
But Megan, you know that. Right. You know that, Megan, when government spends money, it does it by taking from some individuals and giving it to others.
No, it doesn't.
Well, Mike, where does it get the money?
No, it doesn't.
Jonathan, I know you hate the social contract, but you are still participating in it.
No, it doesn't.
Well, I do, but I love my iPhone.
Oh, okay. Well,
I also love mine. That's twice this week we agreed, just for those keeping score at home.
The Lord speaks in strange ways. I got to stop. All right, when we come back, the president preaching taxes are coming and everyone has to pitch in. Fair is fair. Really?
Have been operating. There is a moral imperative that is important. Look, if you make more than $250,000 a year, then that money that you make over $250,000 a year, that's unearned, that's from capital gains and dividends, you should have to pitch into Medicare just like everybody else, because you're going to be using it like everybody else. So it's a concept of fairness.
But no one else will have to pay the same amount, so that That's also a concept of fairness, too. Anyway, tax hikes are coming, and the president has no problem putting it on the people he considers rich. Jonathan, is this fair, like he says?
Well, Neil, the president has total disdain, if you notice, for any economic activity that doesn't involve manual labor, right? So, if you're making money off investments, well, that's not really earned income. That's just a separate income. He's got zero respect for investors, even less respect, of course, for rich people, which, as you pointed out, are responsible for everything. A moral obligation, as he puts it, for paying for everyone's health and education and housing. I mean, where does it end? Don't they have any rights to their own lives?
What the president is saying, then, since that's unearned income, and since you are a giant in this field, everything you do is unearned.
Yeah,
Jonathan,
absolutely. Well, not everything I do is unearned, but a good portion of it. But you know what? Jonathan's right. It gets down to this whole class warfare thing. But there's two other points I want to throw in. One, he says, well, if you're basically rich, you're going to be using Medicare. What if you don't use Medicare? What if you're a healthy person and you never have a use for it? Under his plan, everyone has to pay, but that's not how the system should be. We have a system for paying what you use. That's called capitalism. The other thing that galls me, even more so than that, is he is once again Obama the good, deciding what is morally fair and what is not. Why is it his place to tell us what's fair?
Because he's the president of the United States and he provides leadership to Americans.
He should defend our country and build some good highways. That's not the job of the president of the United States.
Does not disrespect people outside of manual labor. That's ridiculous. Like, this is a broader issue in which the country has a problem with efficiency. I think the average American would like to know how their tax dollars are being spent effectively, as opposed to talking to someone in any income bracket about paying more. I think that the Democrats and Obama do need to be careful on this, because $250,000 is not $1 million. That is not a huge amount of money, depending on the size of your family.
Well,
and
I think the point is, if we're debating, if you're saying, and Michael raises if the issue is we want to get to understanding how the government is spending it efficiently, having the rich pay more doesn't address that.
Look, if you're...
I absolutely agree with you on that, Neil.
Really? Okay, let me rephrase.
Now we're in trouble. Listen,
oh, no.
If your goal
the liberal person said something sensible about efficiency. I've been to the DMV, guys. I had a bad time.
Really? Right. Well, that shouldn't have happened. You should have used my name. All right, but go ahead.
If your goal is trying to achieve some sort of income equality or greater income equality, it's a bad way to do it by bringing some people down. The better way to do it is boosting up those who are at
the
lower...
So you're against hiking the taxes?
Absolutely.
You are a riddle wrapped in a conundrum. So now,
no,
you're Johnny Left-Wing in the last segment.
I'm not Johnny Left-Wing. You keep calling me...
I don't know what you are. So now you're against these taxes?
Yes.
Okay, so Jonathan, he's in your camp now. What do you think of that?
Well, I wish the president, I wish Megyn, I wish more on the left would see that people have a right to their own lives. And although, yes, Megyn, you're right, he is the president of the United States, it is not his role to redistribute the nation's income in the way that he feels most efficient, to your words.
So, guys, could I real quickly ask you this with the tight time? Jonathan, you think taxes are going up still higher, right?
Oh, boy, Neil, I'm about to pay mine, so I don't know how much higher they go. But given the state of the entitlement state, absolutely.
Gary B.?
Well, we have to, otherwise the country's going to go broke.
No.
The deficit will just
Mikey?
Oh, man. Taxes are going up, but for all the wrong reasons, because
But they're going up. They're going to go up more, right?
Nothing.
Okay, fine. Megyn?
Yeah, I'm sure they'll go up, and I think that's unfortunate as well.
Well, we all agree that they're going to go up, but no one really is happy about it. That's progress. That's progress.
Let's go enjoy the sunshine. It's the weekend, Neil. Come on, we saved the world.
Guys, thank you all very much. Have a very, very safe and holy weekend.
You too.